Ken, here's an interesting garden I've been wanting to show you for a while.
I've been looking forward to it. You've been talking about it all week.
Well, you've got the pool being framed out by the perennial garden here with the backdrop of the trees. Really makes for a nice, unique setting right here.
Oh, it's gorgeous here. Now, does this get full sun during the day?
No, this gets about a half day of sun, Ken.
So did that influence your choice of flowers?
Yes, it did. What we've done is we brought in native plants that have adapted to this particular location.
Natives.
Natives.
They're really beautiful, but it's a bit of a shame that they're going to be done flowering in, what, say a week?
Yes, that's true, but we can trick the plants into a longer blooming period.
Oh, really? I'm Ken. Welcome to the Living Landscape Journal.
I'm Pete. Today we're going to talk about perennials and how to increase their blooming period. Ken, let's look at this coreopsis right here.
Yeah.
As you can see, we got these flowers that are about to come out, we got these flowers that are about to bloom, and you got these spent flowers. By coming in here and pruning these spent flowers out of here, it's going to create more flower.
Now, does that hurt the normal growth of the plant?
Not at all. It just creates, a longer blooming period.
It still goes to seed.
So everything goes to seed. Yeah.
Now, with that little trick of yours, how much longer can we get these flowers to keep blooming?
Well, Ken, in most situations, depending on the weather, a month or more.
That's a terrific trick. So, with a little bit of effort and these native plants, we can get them to keep blooming for weeks and weeks.
Not only that, but because they've adapted to this particular location, less pesticides, less fertilizers, this is how it should be.
Really important thing. I'm Ken. Thanks for joining us on the Living Landscape Journal.
And I'm Pete. We'll see you next time.
Pete, I noticed the water level of the river is a lot lower than normal.
It sure is, Ken. Being that it's basically the driest part of the summertime, we could really use some beneficial rains this time of year. But as you can see behind us in this meadow, you got this beautiful meadow with its wildflowers and grasses that are it's still very lush.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Native plants?
Native plants that have adapted to this site, yes.
Looks great. I'm Ken. Welcome to the Living Landscape Journal.
And I'm Pete. Today we're going to talk about watering and when to water plants that are under stress. Ken, let me show you some plants around the house.
Please do. Let's go.
Ken, this is what I wanted to show you. This is a shad tree, and generally speaking, shads are pretty much disease and pest resistant.
So why does this one look so unhealthy?
Well, as you can see here, it's got the speckled leaf, and if you look under the leaf, it's got the lace bug going on underneath. What that's telling us is this plant needs some water.
So it doesn't get enough water here?
Well, it might get enough water, but what's happening is the stone here is drying out the soil underneath it with the hot sun baking down on it.
So what can we do to help the tree?
Well, what I would recommend doing, Ken, is bringing the hose out and putting the hose on trickle, which is something like this, and setting that hose right underneath the trunk and let it really soak into the roots.
And how many times in a typical summer would we need to do this kind of deep watering?
With this whole ecological gardening, we don't want to give the plant too much water. We want to let the plant go under a little bit of stress because that's going to make for a healthier plant. So depending on the weather, maybe once or twice a summer.
It's a fascinating concept that you don't want to help the tree too much. I'm Ken. Thanks for joining us on the Living Landscape Journal.
And I'm Pete. We'll see you next time.